So we are back with our next installment of Tomorrow Talks, and we are here with Lauren Friday today. Lauren, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. Well, I live here in Chattanooga, and I live downtown, which is amazing. I love the entire city, and I love how walkable it is. But right now I'm kind of working on selling vintage clothing.
Awesome.
And I'm also a writer, so I do a lot of poetry as well.
Okay, cool. So vintage clothing, tell me a little bit about that, what that entails, where you get the clothing from.
Yeah. So actually what happened was I was researching the environment.
Oh, wow.
And I was researching about how the clothing industry is the second most polluting in the world. And I was looking into it and realizing that a lot of the fast fashion that you find, and there's nothing wrong with, buying a t-shirt at Target or whatever. We all love Target. But I found that a lot of people are really basing themselves more on consumer as opposed to buying things that they're going to have forever or things that they really want to vote with their dollar. So I've just been figuring out that buying vintage or buying things secondhand is doing better things for the world. You're getting to wear things that are more unique, and you're supporting so many different industries by doing that. You're supporting small businesses, you're supporting the actual community that you live in, because most of the time you get vintage clothes from somewhere in your community. I go to Collective Clothing all the time, which is on North Shore.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I go there, I go to Goodwill, wherever I can really find a piece. And I also wanted it to be size inclusive, because I find that a lot of vintage clothing, everyone was a lot smaller, or they were mostly going to that demographic. So I'm trying to find a wide range of sizes so that everyone can feel included while also doing something really, really awesome for the earth.
That's amazing. That's a really specific niche.
Yeah.
I love that. So so you said you were doing research on the environment and all of that. Is that kind of what you would consider to be your passion?
I guess it's a new passion. I think we didn't have enough research about it before, but that's something that I've really gotten into, and I think that everyone can just do more for it, When you go to Starbucks, bring a cup that you already own.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea,
Just
I was just there earlier today.
Yeah, well, we all forget and
Sure.
things like that, but I think that we are also focused on consuming and just not really realizing how much waste we're putting into the world, and just not treating the world like it has limited resources.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a passion of mine. I think my biggest passion, though, is definitely size inclusion, gender inclusion,
Yes.
all of that, because I think that it's not, even though it's 2020 now, it's not played to enough still. There's not enough visibility for all different kinds of people. So being queer myself, I think it's really important to show, especially the next generation, how many diversities there are.
I love that.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for taking the time to come out today and educate me and educate other people about that kind of thing. Lauren has a great Instagram where she sells her clothes.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about that, that'd be great.
Yeah, my Instagram is actually, the name of it is Dumb Millennial.
Okay.
So you can find it under that. I primarily sell the clothes through that Instagram account, just because I just like the platforming of it, and I think it's really accessible to a lot of different people, and I just try to make it as easy as possible.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's all there.
So Tomorrow Building, I don't know if you know this, but we, and I'll start by saying it's actually one of my passions, the environment and things like that, and I've been doing a lot of research on sustainability. So Tomorrow Building, we have a recycling program, and we also do composting here.
That's amazing.
So if you're interested in that, and if you're looking for a place to move, then Tomorrow Building does encompass some of these things that we can all work toward a better future for. And then I wanted to ask you kind of what you do in Chattanooga as far as involvement with your interests.
Well, to be honest, I just kind of go to places that I know support all sorts of inclusion, like Collective Clothing. I like to go to the Palace Theater.
Yes, which is right downstairs.
Yeah, there's drag shows there, and a lot of youth is involved there too, which is really interesting because they let younger high school and college age kids in, which I think is great because it's exposing them to different kinds of entertainment and different kinds of passions very early on, where when I was in high school that wasn't a thing. So that's, and I just try to put myself out there as much as possible. I talk a lot about mental health on my Instagram too.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's another taboo topic that people didn't really talk about, and the science is so new on it. But if I can make one person feel less alone, whether in this community or anywhere else that people have found my Instagram, like that's what's important to me.
I love that.
So I just want people to feel like they have somewhere to go. So there are times where, I'm just really open on my stories, and a lot of my writing talks about that as well. So that's something that I'm really passionate about, because I think that no one's talking about it. My poetry is very stream of consciousness style poetry, but I get pretty much inspired by anything. But something I've started on my Instagram, which I really like doing, is I call it Stream, and you can find it on my little highlights.
Okay.
But I'll put out like one of those suggestion boxes on Instagram and have someone just write a suggestion of something they want me to write about, and then I film myself writing it and then put it on my story.
What a cool idea.
Yeah.
I've never even, okay, so I'll have to check that out, because I do follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Always commenting on the cute shoes that you have. But yeah, I had no idea that you were a poet either. Okay, great.
Yeah, it's something that's new for me, because I went to school for theater, and I thought that being on a stage and performing was my passion, but I figured out that ultimately the writing and the storytelling is more my passion. Okay. So I kind of got into just writing my stories through poetry, and again, putting a suggestion box out there for me to write about my own experience or whatever I feel about whatever word they put. I think that makes them feel less alone too, because I'm listening to them and I'm responding to them in a way that they're, gonna grasp whatever I have to say. So.
I love that. And social media is such a powerful platform to be able to communicate and connect with so many people.
It really is, and I think that's what's so great about it. I mean, you can use it with caution, because it also comes with its all sorts of things, but I have decided to kind of take it and just make it where I put my positivity out there, where I put what I feel into the world, because we have that platform, so I feel like we can use it to really manifest positivity. If other people are seeing it, you can't really focus on how many followers you have or whatever, but to me it's just where I go to express myself. So I love that that platform exists.
Do you have any resolutions for 2020?
My resolutions are to not be so hard on myself about resolutions, because I have figured out if I'm like, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds in the next month, it's not gonna happen.
No.
So to me, I just want to be better. I just want to eat better, be better about drinking water, be better about sustainability, but I can't do it all at once, and that's okay, because we're all people, and it's the gradual changes that are gonna stick. So that's where I am at 2020.
Okay, great. How long have you lived in Chattanooga?
I lived here for about 2 years. 2 years. Yes.
And so what advice would you give to newcomers to Chattanooga as far as how to get involved in the city? Because that's a huge thing for Tomorrow Building.
Oh yeah, and I love this space too. I actually come over here all the time.
Yeah.
Especially to Southern Squeeze downstairs.
Yes. And
so
you know some people who live in the building.
Oh yes, I do. Yeah. I just love this building.
Great.
But to get involved in the community here, I actually kind of find it easy, because the people here are so open. Mm-hmm. I came here from Atlanta, which is also a great city, but it is so hustle and bustle that it's harder to break into different communities. Mm-hmm. And here I feel like you can kind of just show up wherever you want and start a conversation with anyone and feel included.
Yeah. I love that.
I think just going out there and being yourself, people respond really well to authenticity here, which I think is really cool. So I guess my advice is literally go anywhere. Go,
awesome.
Go to Reagan's and hang out, and someone will talk to you. So
or somebody will rope you into their video project.
Or that, whatever.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I've been eyeballing the ring that you have. It's totally beautiful.
Thank you.
Please follow Lauren on social media, Dumb Millennial.
Yep.
Follow Tomorrow Building, and
thanks for having me.